What makes this really bad is that, despite AI being new tech, we've actually been here before. In the late 1990s, Lucent Technologies extended $8.4 billion of vendor financing to telecom startups that could not otherwise afford its equipment. That was roughly 24% of annual revenue. The customers bought the kit, the revenue was booked, and the growth looked spectacular. And then the carriers stopped paying. Roughly $7.5 billion of write-offs followed across the following fiscal years. Lucent's market capitalization went from about $258 billion at the peak to somewhere near $20 billion, and the company eventually sold itself to Alcatel. Lucent's exposure was 24% of 1 year's revenue. Nvidia's arrangement, if fully drawn, contemplates a residual value book measured in the hundreds of billions. The defenders will tell you the crucial difference is that money is now coming from independent Wall Street firms rather than the vendor itself, and they're right about that. Nvidia's answer to the risks of vendor financing was essentially just to make the whole system much bigger and shift much of the potential losses onto pension funds and other institutional investors. But the market has started marking this. CoreWeave carries $51 billion of total debt against $2.5 billion of trailing EBITDA. That's 20 times. Quarterly interest expense went from $267 million to $640 million in only 4 quarters. Last year's net income was minus $626 million. The stock is down 27% over 12 months. Oracle sits on $156 billion of debt and is down 39% over the same period. And in late July, before any of this was announced, Nvidia's 5-year credit default swaps doubled from around 40 basis points to a record 82. CoreWeave's hit around 855 basis points on the 29th of July, which implies a market-priced 5-year probability of default at 50%. Revenue is up 85% year on year. Customers are still paying on time. But inventory is up 127%, and that's the number that stands out. But the funniest part, guys, is that Nvidia is up 22% over the past year, while many of the companies borrowing heavily to buy its chips are down. Now, if you're thinking that all of this just looks and sounds bizarre, you're not alone. But every business involved is behaving rationally on their own terms. Huang has called the circular financing criticism preposterous, and he may be right that the chips are productive assets that generate real cash. But the system being built on top of them expects you to believe that depreciating hardware can act as robust long-term collateral, and that Nvidia's guarantee will hold up when Nvidia itself is under the most pressure.